All right. Good morning, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for showing up to class today. We will be having a quiz on Friday. So tomorrow, we'll be having a quiz during this class over one-step and two-step equations, what we've learned this week. I think it's about 6 questions or 5. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But it'll be just a quick quiz in that 15 minutes. Make sure you show up, because if you don't come and take it in class, you'll have to schedule office hours to take it. And that's just extra time. So why don't you do it when I have it live, and then it'll be a lot easier. So today we're going to be solving two-step equations. So doing the same thing we did on Tuesday, just adding an extra step. So for the bell ringer, does anyone have an answer to t plus 17 equals 3? Go ahead and type it in the chat if you do have an answer. I'm seeing negative 14. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and solve this for those that aren't quite sure how to get that answer. Okay, so t plus 17 equals 3. I want to isolate my variable and get it by itself. So let me stop sharing this so my screen's bigger. Okay. I want to isolate my variable and get t by itself. So in order to do that, I have to get rid of the 17. So I'm going to do the inverse of 17, or of positive 17, which is negative 17. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. So I'm going to subtract 17 from both sides. A positive 17 and a negative 17 gives me 0. 3 minus 17 gives me negative 14. Bring down my t. T equals negative 14. Okay, and for my next equation, I have 2/3 j equals 8. What's the answer to that one if you have it? Go ahead and type it in the chat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and solve it because it looks like we don't have an answer. So we have 2/3 j equals 8. In order to get rid of, I want to get j by itself, isolate my variable. In order to get rid of j, in order to get j by itself, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/2 because it's division, and the opposite of division is multiplication. So I multiply 3/2, and then I multiply the other side of times 3/2. This cancels out, and I'm left with j equals j. So I'm going to now multiply my fraction, so it's actually 8/1. So I have 24 divided by 2, which gives me 12. So j equals 12. Or you can plug 8 times 3 divided by 2 into your calculator. It's up to you. But I just wrote it out. Does anyone need me to go over that again? Or are we good on one-step equations? Thank you, Hobby. Okay, today we're going to be doing two-step equations. So can everybody see the notebook? So I'm going to start doing notes in this Big Ideas Math Algebra 1 journal. If you guys would like a copy of this journal to do it along with me starting next week, you can come to the school and pick one up. Just type in the chat right now if you want one, or send me an email so that I can have them in the office for you to come pick up. You can pick them up starting today, but they'll just be in the office. If you want one, just let me know so I can have it ready for you. It's kind of nice because we can take all of our notes in here, and then there's like extra practice problems and good demonstrations. So if you would like one, let me know and I can get it for you. But today we're going to be solving two-step equations. So for solving two-step equations, you're going to try and get the variable by itself like we did for one-step equations. there's just going to be some extra steps. So to solve a multi-step equation, simplify each side of the equation, then use inverse operations to isolate the variable. So what that's kind of big words, but to solve a multi-step equation, what we're going to do is we're going to combine like terms if we're able to, and then isolate the variable. So get it by itself. So that's what isolate means, by using inverse operations. So in case you forgot, we talked about inverse operations on Tuesday. Inverse operations just mean to undo using the opposite. So when I say inverse, it's just using the opposite to undo something. So addition and subtraction, or multiplication and division for inverse operations. So I'm going to do 2 examples, and then we're going to work on the homework together, because I know some people have troubles with big ideas math. So we'll log in together and do the first couple problems together. Okay? So for my first equation, I have 2.5x minus 13 equals 2. Does anyone know what my first step is going to be? Add 13. Yes, good job, Evelyn. So I'm going to do the inverse of 13 to get x by itself, isolate my variable. So since it's subtracting 13, I'm going to do the opposite, which is adding 13. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to both. So 2 plus 13 gives me 15. And then these will cancel, and I bring down my 2.5x. Okay. Do I need to write bigger, or can you guys see it okay? Okay. So now it's just a one-step equation like we did on Tuesday. So I have 2.5x equals 15, and I'm trying to solve for x. So to get x by itself, I'm going to get rid of the 2.5, and since they're being multiplied together, I'm going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So I'm going to divide 2.5 to get x by itself. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. 2.5 and 2.5 cancel out, and I'm left with x equals, plug in 15 divided by 2.5 to my calculator, and I get 6. So it says solve the equation and check your solution. So now I'm going to check my solution to prove that 6 is the correct answer. So I have 2.5. Wherever I see x in my equation, I'm going to plug in 6. 2.5 times 6 minus 13 equals 2. 2.5 times 6 gives me 15. Minus 13 equals 2. 15 minus 13 is 2. 2 does equal 2. So 6 is the correct answer. So all I did to check my solution was wherever I see x in my first equation, I plugged in 6. Okay. Does anyone need me to go over any of that again? Is anyone confused? Is anything like blurry, confusing, need me to do it again? Okay. Then I'm going to move on to the next one. And we have negative 12 equals 9x minus 6x plus 15. So what I'm going to do, my steps to solving a multi-step equation, simplify each side of the equation. So that's step number 1. So can I simplify this left side? No, it's just negative 12. But can I simplify the right side? Yes. I have 2 x's, so I can combine those to simplify the right side of the equation. So 9x minus 6x gives me 3x, because 9 minus 6 is 3, and the x just tags along. Bring down my plus 15, because I can't simplify that or combine like terms. And then I couldn't do anything to the left side, so it just comes down and stays the same. Okay, Now this is set up in the similar fashion as the first equation, where it's a two-step to solve. So what I'm going to do now is I want to use inverse operations to isolate the variable. So step 1, simplify. Step 2, isolate the variable. Get x, get whatever the letter is by itself. So I have 3x plus 15 equals negative 12. In order to get the 3x by itself, I need to get rid of positive 15. And in order to do that, I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides because it's adding. So I'm going to do the opposite. So what I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. My lights just went off and they won't turn back on. There we go. Okay, so positive 15 and the negative 15 cancel out. Bring down my 3x. And then I'm going to have subtracting negative 12 and negative 15 gives me negative 27 equals 3x. What do I do now to solve?
Simplify?
Divide, yep. What am I going to divide? By 3, good job. Yep, so Javi, you were on the right track. We're going to simplify by getting x by itself. So I'm going to divide by 3 to get x by itself. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. So those will cancel and I'm left with x equals, and then I have negative 27 divided by 3 gives me a negative 9. And then I'm going to check my solution. Negative 12 equals 9. Wherever I see x in my first equation, I'm going to put in the negative 9. Okay, so then 9 times negative 9 gives me negative 81. 6 times 9 is 54. It's positive, and positive 15. So 54 plus 15 gives me 69 minus 81 equals negative 12. And then 81 minus 69 gives me negative 12. So negative 12 does in fact equal negative 12. My solution checks out. All right. So there's also going to be some story problems in your homework. So we can do those together if you want, if we have time today, or we can just get through as much of the homework as we can. So I'm going to turn this off. All right. Okay, so we're going to log into Big Ideas Math. Let me assign it in the Google Classroom for 1.2. I kind of went over it briefly last time because I ran out of time, but in order to get like 20 out of 20 points in Power School for Big Ideas Math assignments, you just need to get a 70% on the Big Ideas Math website. So if you get 70% or better, I'll put 20 out of 20 in the grade book. So I just assigned it in Google Classroom, so you can go in there, and then we're going to go over the first couple problems together. So let me log into Big Ideas Math. Okay. So if you still need your login, let me know and I can get that to you, or it's in our classroom under the resources tab. Okay. So is my screen being shared? It's loading. Yes. Okay. So when you log into Big Ideas Math, this is what you're going to get. And then you're going to go to assignments. Let me make my cursor bigger. Okay, so then we're going to go to 1.2, solving multi-step equations. If you want to do this with me, we'll do some of the problems together. You'll click enter. And then for some reason, it takes a while to load. I don't know why. Okay, click start. All right, so number 1, to solve the equation 2x plus 3x equals 20, first combine 2x and 3x because they are unlike terms, like terms, equivalent equations, or inverse operations. Does anyone know the answer?
Like terms?
Yeah, they're like terms. So this is the answer to number 1. So if you are not able to log into Big Ideas Math, I would write these down so that you can go in later and put them into Big Ideas Math. So I'm going to click check answer, and it's correct. Sweet. All right. Solve 3w plus 7 equals 19. So I'm going to do this one with you guys, and then the next one you guys can solve, and then I'll let you know if it's right or not. So 3w plus 7 equals 19. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And to get the variable by itself, 19 minus 7, 12, equals 3w. Now I'm going to divide by 3 to get w by itself. And 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. So if you type in 4, check answer, correct. What was the chat? What are the passwords? And I can't log in. Okay, the passwords are the same password you use to log into your email and your Chromebook. So like your first initial, last initial, student ID number, exclamation mark. And Abigail, your username. A:222. Try that, and then if it still doesn't work, I'll send you a password reset. Okay, moving on to number 4. Go ahead and solve that one, and then I'll go over it in just a second. Diego forgot his username as well. D Loera 017. I'll type it in the chat. Okay, Javi's saying 8. Does anyone else disagree or agree? 8 is correct. So we're going to add 13, or we're going to have 2g minus 13 equals 3. I'm going to add 13 to both sides. And then I'm left with 2g equals 16. And then it's just a one-step equation, divide by 2 to get g by itself. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. G is left on the left. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So those are kind of those problems. You guys can keep working on this. We still have about 10 minutes left. And then if you get stuck on problems, I'll help you. I was going to go to one of the story problems. Okay. So this one, I'm going to work out and then go over it and give you guys the answer because people kind of struggled on that one. So I'm on number 15 if you would like help on the story problem. Okay. The altitude, A, of a plane, minutes after liftoff, is given by the equation A equals 3,400 T plus 600. How many minutes after liftoff is the plane at an altitude of 21,000 feet? So I'm trying to find the minutes. So T is what I'm trying to solve for. And then it's giving me 21,000 feet for the altitude. So I'm going to plug in 21,000 in the equation for A. So right here where I see A, I'm going to put 21,000. And then rewrite the equation, equals 3,400 T plus 600. Now it's just a two-step equation with bigger numbers. So my first step is going to be subtract 600 from both sides. And I'm going to use the calculator. So I get 20,400 equals 3,400 T. One step equation, just going to divide by the 3,400 on both sides. And I'm left with T equals 6. So after 6 minutes, the plane will be at 21,100 feet. So that's the answer to number 15. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the rest of the time to work on it on your own. Is anyone else still having problems getting into big ideas math? Okay, so we have a quiz tomorrow, remember that. And both of these big idea assignments, you just need to get a 70% on or better to get 100% in the grade book. And then I'll put 20 out of 20 in the grade book, and then they're due Monday at midnight. There is something in the bottom of my coffee cup that looks like a booger. I'm disgusted now. That's gross. I'm gonna not drink my coffee. All right, how's everything else going for you guys? Are you guys feeling okay with school? Or are you guys still super overwhelmed? Are you feeling a little bit better? Kind of? Okay, well, just know that I'm here for you guys in any class. I know that I'm a math teacher, but I also went to college and got a degree in science, and I'm also pretty super good at English and history. The only thing I'm not too great at is choir or art. So if you need help in those classes, I can try, but I'm not the best. But if you ever want to schedule office hours for help in any of your other classes, we can totally do that. I want to help you guys do the best you can. Francisco, have you been able to log into the website? Leon, sorry, there's two Franciscos. Francisco Leon, have you logged into the Big Ideas Math website? Okay, so you don't need the class code. I already created you an account. So your username, I just had it pulled up. Where did it go? Okay, Big Ideas username. So you're going to go to bigideasmath.com. Your username is FLEOTORRES 002. And then your password is what you use to log into the Chromebook and your email. Can I go over 5? Of course. Is number 5? I logged out, so let me go real quick. Number 5. 11 equals 12 minus Q. Is that the one, Alexis? Okay. So you have 11 equals 12 minus Q. And you want to get Q by itself. So you're going to subtract 12 from both sides. 11 minus 12 gives me -1 equals negative Q. Now I have a negative Q and I want it to be positive. So I'm going to divide by -1 because a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to both. So negatives will cancel out and I'm left with a positive Q. And -1 divided by -1 once again gives me a positive 1. So Q equals 1 for number 5. All right, bye guys, you're good to go. Don't forget quiz tomorrow. Have a good day.